All right, it's just coming up to about 7:30 here on Sunrise Daily. Thanks for staying tuned with us. Yesterday, we were having a very interesting conversation on the Electoral Act amendment, not assented to by President Buhari for the fourth time. And yesterday, we had a couple of guests who were giving us their own thoughts. And we did mention that yesterday that we were expecting to be joined by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, Senator Pt.1. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us yesterday, but he's here today. But let me welcome you, Senator Enang. First, let me welcome you to Sunrise Daily. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
Now, we want to recall some of what was said yesterday, particularly by the co-convener of the Election Situation Room, Mr. Pt.1, who, of course, I'm sure you're familiar with. You were with him together here on this station sometime last week on this same subject. But let's just recall some of what he said yesterday before we started the conversation with you.
Two issues that have been raised by the two major parties have been the issue of the smart card reader and the electronic transmission. If we look at that, the presidency was even accusing the National Assembly of sending the bill to them in the third amendment that was proposed, that the president rejected, without including the smart card readers, and indicating by inference that the presidency was satisfied and indeed happy with the use of the smart card readers and its entrenchment in the law. So when we look at that, it is quite clear to me that there was nothing, or there is nothing in the Electoral Act Amendment bill that is proposed by the National Assembly which the president refused assent to. There is nothing there that is controversial. So I'm puzzled, and I think it's very ill-advised for the president to have refused assent to the bill. I don't know who advised him, and I don't know why he was advised, but quite frankly, I do not understand the rationale for refusing assent, because there is nothing in the bill that creates advantage for anybody, for any of the political parties. So I am very puzzled, and I think it's very damaging for the president that he did not assent to the bill. It is very, very damaging. And
okay, there you have the nub of it. Senator Enang, were you one of those who advised the president not to assent to the bill?
I am Presidential Liaison Officer, and my job is defined, and I will plead my privilege.
Okay, moving on from there. Now, you heard Mr. Nwankwo talk about the two critical issues and the fact that this particular version of the amendment bill was satisfactory to all stakeholders, including the presidency, which he says was represented during the discussions for this amendment and expressed satisfaction with it. So what happened, if that is true? What happened? Why did the president then go on and refuse assent?
Thank you very much. I want to say that I have worked a few times, and sometimes with my brother, Clement Nwankwo Esquire, and we've had and shared our thoughts on this electoral bill. And I want to say that the thoughts that he expresses, that the electoral, if the electronic voting, electronic transmission is not, if the bill is not signed into law, it cannot be used, is wrong. I want to say that it is the electronic and the smart card reader that was used in a Ekiti election. It is not what was used in the Anambra election, was what was used in the Queen election, what was used in the senatorial election in Katsina State, in Bauchi State, in all other states where we had national and state assembly elections. It did not have to come under this law. The INEC has, under the 2014 Act, and under even what is proposed here, the right and obligation to use the electronic voting. And of course, by the presentation of the bill, which in reference, it does not make the use of card reader compulsory. It makes it that INEC can use it. It says shall use it, or in any other method acceptable to it. If I may read the provision of the bill so that Nigerians will know that it is not this that says, look, it shouldn't be done. Section 52, which is the amendment to Section 52, says, the Commission shall adopt electronic voting in all elections or any other method of voting as may be determined by the Commission from time to time. And I read again for emphasis. The Commission shall adopt electronic voting in all elections or not and any other method of voting as may be determined from time to time. And INEC has statutorily and compulsively for now, not statutorily, compulsively for now, adopted electronic voting in all this. And in Section 63 provides, the presiding officer shall announce the result at the polling unit and transmit same in the manner prescribed by the Commission. Therefore, and I hope this is the section that my brother is referring to as electronic transmission provision or compulsion. He says transmit them in a manner provided by the Commission. Therefore, if we have to say that this has compulsively or in any manner outlawed the use of electronic voting or will prejudice the election, I think it is wrong. This is the provision in the bill, which does not in any manner, which is not different from what the practice of INEC is now. Now, let me get to the other issue that Mr. President alluded to in not assenting to the bill. First was that it is getting too close to election time, and it is dangerous that it will be dangerous to bring in a new electoral law at this time when the process of election has commenced from August, September, October this year, and if you come to conclude it under a new law, that it will cause confusion and may lead to some anarchy. Anarchy is my word. Now, I want to also say that if you consider the provisions of the bill, it relates to the process of nomination of candidates. Nomination of candidates is regulated by the political parties under the current practice without this bill being ascended into becoming a law. It's regulated by the political parties. But the law says that there shall be a direct election, direct nomination of candidates, direct primaries, and for presidential and gubernatorial candidates, after the direct primaries in each of the subunits in the ward, in the local government, in the state, there shall be a convention at the national level coming to ratify that candidate. Now, it is only 2 or 3 of the political parties that have adopted this process, the APC, the PDP, and perhaps the Social Democratic Party. All others have just adopted the means that they determined to choose their presidential and all other candidates.